So today is Monday, the 6th of January 2025, and it's the start of the new year. And what I'm starting to do is I'm going to see whether I can get into the habit of doing these videos again and documenting what I'm going to go through and how I'm going to do it. This is follow up to what I did a couple of years ago, and it kind of like life turns and cycles, doesn't it? The yesterday was the sign up date for London, Edinburgh, London for 2025. So I'm glad to say that I have got a place on Lell again, which I'm really happy about because it's an amazing event. I really enjoy it. I think the last two times that I've done it have been very different. First time was very, very, very tough for various reasons, and I've put that onto the blog previously in terms of what that experience was like. Whereas last time was amazing. It was really good. I had a whale of a time. I'm probably pissed off everybody off because we're just being so happy and not in pain. So that's what I went through, and so I'm really over the moon to be doing that again in this year. So I'm really looking forward to being part of that whole process. One of the things that I'm going to be starting to look at is that idea which I've got for November of this year, which is the ultra distance, long distance Zwift project. It needs a sexy name. I haven't worked out what to call it yet in terms of giving it a project name. So that's something which is going to be on the lookout for the first part of this year as well, to give it a project name. And then I got some handle on to what to call it. I'm slightly frustrated and trying to get certain information from certain people to work forward on what the plan is going to be. But I'm not getting that information at the moment, so I need to continue to work and push for that information. As we're just coming out of the Christmas period, the updates which I've got in terms of where I put all my data and the information which I share. So normally what I do is I share my data on Strava, so it's all on there. I've put it as muted by default, mainly because 99% of what I do is kind of bland or boring. It's just mile munching or intervals, and it's not that really inspiring. It's quite mundane. So most of the time I stick it into mute. It's there though. And normally what I've been trying to do is trying to put commentary into where the information is coming from. So how I feel or what that ride involved or the motivation behind it. I'm sticking to the similar processes which I've done in previous versions of doing these projects. It seems to work for me, but I'm going to see whether I can improve it further. I am using Intervals a lot, intervals.icu. I think it's a brilliant tool in terms of organisation of structured workouts, where I'm going in performance, looking at the stats, logging information, particularly motivation, well-being, that kind of stuff, which goes in quite well with then looking at trend analysis of where I am sitting with what's my objective, what's my target, am I going towards it, do I spot that I am overtraining, undertraining, all the rest of it is all there. It's all in the intervals.icu. So I'm going to continue using that. I've started trying to put into some of that information this next week or so, deadlines and progress update points. I still need to finalise some both long distance solo training rides, which I'll do like what I did in 2017 and so on, where I was basically self-support, going from place to place because of family commitments, or doing it as a 400-kilometre DIY loop effectively to get experience training and all the rest of it. I have got the benefit now. I've got a lot more experience. I know what I'm doing on these, so it's a lot easier. As 2024 ended and 2025 started, on the whole, I think 2024 was a good year. It was quite a strong, good year in terms of the performance that I had. I missed some of the targets that I wanted to do, but I did. But physically, I feel leaving 2024, I was in better condition than I was leaving in 2023. 2022 was exceptional because that's when I did the 1,851k on Zwift. So I still had a tailwind from that. This year, starting 2025, I would say that I'm in a better position, apart from I had minor illness over New Year. It's one of those things where it's gone around the family. So that it's here nor there really in terms of going into training. I've now got the shed set up way better. So there's a lot of development that went on in terms of the last year to make it so it's a hospitable place to be doing workouts in. I've now got my sound system set up, I've got my fan blowing, I've got my screens working, all the rest of it. The Turbo Trainer bike, which I have been using, is coming to its end. So it will be, well, it's in the process of being replaced because I've got, lying around in the office, I've got a spare frame which will then get built up to actually make it into the Turbo Trainer bike. There's some bits like the electronics, etc., that I need to transfer across, and also some of the components will get moved across from the current setup, but I don't really want to do that until I've got all the components that I think I need, so that I have a drop off in where my training schedule effectively. The other thing is, at the moment, is because it is January the 6th, we've just had a load of weather warnings go through for cold, slush, snow, ice, all the rest of the, the normal winter stuff, being in the UK. So I think the training plans at the moment are going to be slightly more based on internal riding rather than being out on the road. However, I want to get time on the road anyway because it's massively beneficial in terms of experience, road handling skills, mental health, all the rest of it, which I want to be part of rather than being inside that shed for the whole time and not really feeling the wind on your face. I would say kind of seeing the sunlight. However, with winter hours, you don't see much sunlight anyway. But I would like to be, particularly the 6 a.m. rides on the road, which I really quite enjoy because you get to do the sunrise as you get towards 8 o'clock time, and trying to fit that in. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Other bits and pieces, I think that's mainly the ones. I've got a week away, which I'm going to be in Sweden, Gothenburg, in the end of this month. So that will be a slight disruption in terms of what the plans are. In terms of diet and all the rest of it, doing pretty well. I'm starting the year at about 71 kilos. Historically, I've been around about 69, 70 kilo threshold. So, but for the last year, I've been at about 71. I don't think I'm going to shake that up or down much. It will change in events, I think, more than anything, in terms of when I did one of the large events last year, I dropped down to 68 kilos, but then came back up to 71 again. So I imagine that I'm going to do the same bounces through the year, but I'm looking forward to it. Other things that are going on in terms of Anna is still doing her running. She's got the long distance, the lap and the Felsman she signed up for. So I'm going to be doing support on that as well. She's doing 3 peaks with her school friends. That's a week after doing the Felsman. I'm tempted to do the Felsman, but I'm also aware that it's additional cost and it's also going to be time off the bike as well. And are road miles more critical this year compared to what it was last year? But I have got a little bit of FOMO of missing out on the Felsman because I love the event. It's great. I really enjoyed doing it last year. So glad to have completed it, and I really want Anna to complete it as well. That's her target for this year. But I can also want to go for see how fast I can do it because that's my nature. But maybe that's something that I'll have to put off until 2026, in whatever form that will be, depending on how Anna does in 2025. So what I'll do is I'm going to try and keep this as a bit of a video log, roughly 10 minutes at a time, because we're at 9 minutes already, and we'll see if I can compile it at some point in the future.